Right, well, we're going to carry on. This set is one out of sequence. Because we're all set up for CPT, this is a CPT set. May as well. So, we did a Danita 1240 for Alan. And this is supposed to be a CPT version, which I think they called a 240, but it says 1240 and I don't get that. Now, it's not approved for the UK, this particular set, so it was a grey import. Now, that doesn't matter with this particular set, because it's also CE approved. So we can use any set that is CE approved that does what we do in the UK. This is the 2014 legislation. So, although this was a grey import, let me just bring this up on the thing. Make sure we're in that mode. Let's have a look at the list on the front. So to be legal in the UK at the time, it's PR27GB. So we've got Denmark, I think is that one, DK, yeah. Then we've got CPT Netherlands and PR27B and PR27SF, PR27S, but not GB. Right. But the 2014 legislation says that a European set that's CE approved can be used legally in the UK, so that's fine. So, 2 sets back, I did Alan's Danita 1240 UK. This is also from Alan. So, hopefully it's going to be exactly the same set, but with the Pays Not Loot chip being that for EU. Oh, yeah, that's in his letter. To get rid of this battery. Yeah. What that's about is somebody's modified it so that when you turn it off, it retains its last channel memory. Well, he wants it to be factory standard, so it boots up on channel 9. And I don't blame him either. Get some gear plugged in. He's also sent the factory original mic. And yesterday we discovered a Uniden standard wiring is... Hello? What's going on? Put the remote down and it was on an angle and the pressure was pressing the zoom. So we'll do everything on the standard replacement mic and then we'll just do that at the end. So I'll just get my Union? Never been in a Union in my life. There is a union for church organ builders. I think I seem to remember it's the Federation of Master Organ Builders and Violin Makers. There was some bizarre rule that you could only tune 2 organs a day or something like that, which is bizarre because some organs you're never going to finish tuning them. Big cathedrals, and other ones, you can do 6 a day. Right. See if we can cope with the speaker. No, we won't. We'll unsolder it because we're going to be backwards and forwards with soldering, aren't we? So let's see what they've done here. I don't see any reason why we've got to take that diode out. Clearly it shouldn't be there. If I take the bottom off, it brings us up a different level in the repair, so I'll try and keep it like that. I'm sure that's how it needs to be. We can have his 3-volt battery back. So now it should boot up on channel 9. Power supply on. Have I plugged it into the power? No, of course I haven't. There's been a request that we do an on-the-air test of a set we haven't serviced, and then do an on-the-air test after we've serviced it as a before and after. So I will do that as a one-off. Not with a customer set. One of our random sets which has been donated. We'll do 3 videos. First video, I'm going to put it on the bench, say what we're doing, and I'm going to open it up and put it on the test equipment to make sure it's legal and safe. So what I don't want to discover is there are some strange modifications that could cause a short circuit and damage the set. Just make sure it is safe, and then the legal side, that it's doing less than 4.1 watts. Well, most of the sets we do are doing less than 3, aren't they? And the other thing is that it's on frequency enough for it to be legal. And again, it's not often that they're well out. They usually just need pulling up a bit. So I can't see there's a problem there. So I think that, you know, that's fair enough. We'll pick a random set and we'll do that. Probably do it at the weekend. Right, so when I power this up, it should come on channel 9, which it did. Have I not got the speaker plugged in? I have got the speaker plugged in. Okay, I've got nothing coming out of the audio. Let's put the factory mic in. It works with that. Oh dear, this plug's no good, is it? Well, you know, Alan's quite capable of doing the mic, but I don't like the fact that where the screw should be, it's all broken away. But so why is it that yesterday when we did the Danita 1240, we plugged the Uniden mic in and that was perfect. And today a Uniden plug mic isn't right. Okay, we'll try Cybernet mic. It's Cybernet on this one. How bizarre is that? Unless, of course, it's been altered. You know what? We've got one of these sets. I think we need to pause the video and make sure that's not been altered. And then, of course, that brings up the next problem. If that's been altered, that's got to be altered, which means I've got to alter the mic, which would mean we'd need to put a new plug on it. Okay, so looking into this, that box is an empty box on my shelf. Looking into this, on our universal microphone wiring, 2 is Uniden, and we can see from the circuit diagram for the set that pin 1 should be common, and pin 1 is common. Pin 2 should be audio, and pin 2 is indeed audio. Pin 3 should be transmit, and pin 3 is transmit. And pin 4, goes without saying, should be receive, and pin 4 is indeed receive. So for it to have been transposed to Uniden, from Uniden to Maxon, somebody has changed the wiring round. So I need to change that back and then change the mic back, but we'll do the repair using my standard Uniden mic, and we'll just have to put him a new plug on that because that's knackered. So I wish people wouldn't do this. Cybernet isn't standard. You could just as easily say great is standard. Right, I'll pause the video and get this wiring altered. And you know what? There's no capacitors on here for decoupling, which is potentially one of those sets that could get hummed. But there you go. Right, so I've rewired the set so that it's as the circuit diagram shows and as yesterday's was. I'm going to say they wouldn't have a different wiring between the UK and the European version. So, whilst I've got yesterday's in mind, this is why it was sensible to do this. We can just go straight through this and see where we are. Demodify bat. Rewire mic socket to Uniden standard. It's 5th today. Right, picture in picture on. Banging across, it's doing 4.9 watts. That means somebody's turned it up to full, which is not desirable. I suppose they sell used cars that have been wound up to full revs all the time as well. Right, so I'm presuming that is full. Just make sure with the power preset. Yeah, you see, it's not right. There comes a point when you can increase the voltage to the transmitter, but it makes no difference because you're already maximum it can do. And that's the point at which, if this set was struggling and it was unable to, supposing we just managing to get 3.9 watts out of it, which is often the kind of case, then that preset, if that was 3.9 watts in that position, turning it further, and look at how much further there is between the maximum, to make sure I'm in picture, the maximum is there, and I could say, we're going anti-clockwise, so I could say it's like 11 o'clock at the moment, and its minimum is 25 to. So look how much more travel there is where it does nothing, but it's increasing the voltage to the transmitter, so it's getting more and more saturated, so it's likely to get hotter and hotter. And if you're going to be getting, so you've not only got the failure issue, you've also got the harmonics. You can't do any more. You know, it's like the car. There's a point at which you put the pedal to the metal. It's not going to go any further till it catches up with the revs or whatever. Right. Okay. So full power is. I must get this across. It's an absolute no-no. It's only able to do a bit more power, so you can set it up properly, and so it's got some in reserve for slightly bad SWRs and that. So they're quite lucky. I'm just hoping. I mean, that looks like that's the one you never touch for this, done with the spectrum analyzer. So when we do scratchy corners, I'm not just going to put it on the spectrum analyzer and charge the customer for that extra fee, but scratchy corners test proves whether that's been messed about with or not. So now, with it at full power, and full power is that position where there is no more difference, and that is just there, we'll now go through it on channel 20 to make sure that is the peak. And look at the centre of the peak, because as it is at the moment, it's not as centralised as I'd hope it would achieve. It's ideally within 0.1 of the band edges. So if we're getting 3.9 watts on channel 20, I wouldn't like it to be more different than 3.8 or 4 on channel 40 or channel 1. Now we'll turn that to 4. I don't think if you get 5 watts out of a radio, you're getting 25% more range. You're not. You're probably getting 2 feet more range. It doesn't work like that. So, that is now spot on 4 watts. So let's just hope that the band edges are somewhere near. So here we go. Channel 40. It's 3.95. Channel 1 is 4. So that's balanced up pretty well. Our current consumption, if we go back to channel 20, is 1.115. So if we're not doing that, do the frequency next. We may as well just look at the frequency counter. So it should be 27205, 2720461. So it's just slightly low, which you'd expect. Wrong way. Leave it just very slightly high. I've forgotten where it was now. 468, I think it was. 27,205.03, I think. Yeah. So we've not got a meter. Good. Deviation. So let's look on this test instrument first. Wow, that is showing 2.5 feet, which is exactly as it should be. But I'll just go over to the test set behind me, seeing as this one can tell lies. Wow, it's actually low. Right. Wallow. Wallow. Still low. My wahs aren't there. Wallow. Not that these are the clearest TX audio in the world. So my Marconi is not playing ball today on deviation. Wallow. You know what? It's reading right now. Right, that's our transmitter done. So let's see where the receive is before we touch it. 27,205 on the signal generator. Just like that. So I've put my test instruments back into a speaker we can hear. So that's the PA speaker. Let's just check it on PA. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Good. Well, the receive looks very good. So as presented, it's 0.38. .33, and if it will do 20, yeah, 0.8. Squelch. Oops, wrong button. Never opens. Threshold. incredibly 0.28. Just check that again, because that's bizarre. Just put it to full again. Oh, that's full volume, full squelch. No, it never opens. Well, that's a real useful squelch. Right, let's go through the receiver then. It does sound alright. Doesn't sound like the detector's out, but we're going to do that anyway. So let's put the oscilloscope on the screen. Do the detector. The detector was already spot on. So now we'll go to the cyanide meter. Put about 4 dB on there so we're not saturating the receiver. Start at the front end. Crystal filtered as standard, as the specification requires. That was already spot on. Tiniest little improvement there. A bit more of an improvement there. I've dropped the signal. I think we're on IFs now. Yeah, bigger signal. I can't see that at the moment. The bigger signal's still on. That's it. See whether we've got an improvement. So for 12 dB it's 0.3. So yeah, it has altered it. For 10 dB it's 0.24. And for 20 it's 0.7. So with that deviation, this set would have been quite quiet. So they've turned it up, but nobody did hear it, so it's counterproductive. Right, let's see whether we can do something about the squelch. Let's go over to the attenuator. I've put 100 microvolts on the signal generator there, and let's see whether we can put the squelch to full and then change the preset so that it opens. No. Right, let's put the signal generator to full whack. How bizarre. Turn the squelch down a bit. So that's clearly the least sensitive position there. Now it seems to have come right. I think we've got a dirty, must have got a dirty preset. .24. So that's balanced as best as we can, but full squelch never opens. There's always some quirk, isn't there, with a set? I mean, nobody noticed that, but you just need to be aware that full squelch, these never open. Right. Perhaps you do if you poke a walkie-talkie in their face. Try that. Put squelch to full. Yeah, it does. So if it's got a massive signal beyond what our signal generator does, it will open. Not ideal. Spent more time messing with the squelch than anything else on the set. So we're now wired for the microphone. It should be. It's doing a full 4 watt output. The deviation's correct. And the receiver, though excellent, is now slightly improved. So we'll pop the speaker back on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to do the microphone tomorrow. So we're going to do the on-the-air test with the standard replacement mic that I've wired the set now for. So remember, it's Uniden is standard on this. And then tomorrow I'll do the final bit to base station. And nobody will be the wiser because that's the way videos can be. Just make sure the speaker actually works. It does. Right, we're going to pop the screws in and do a scratchy corner test. I'm sure Mr. Chippy's revving up the electric car in the driveway, if you can rev up electric cars. when I did my apprenticeship in church organ restoration, Mr. Groves, my organ boss, he sent me to Lincoln to go and do something to a particular organ. And when I got back, he was indeed sat there in his driveway with the engine running. And he'd calculated that by the time I did this organ job and got back, it would be X o'clock on the time. Well, how does he know what the traffic's going to be like in the 30-odd miles? You're late. How can I be late? We didn't set a time. Bizarre. And I wasn't skiving. Right, let's get rid of the test gear. Pop the squelch on. And put the aerial in. So we're on the Antron 99 or the whatever 99, just above gutter level on a single-storey building, broadside into a roof, in the middle of nowhere. 19 Roger. Or is it 14 Roger? 14 Roger. So we don't get anything like the range on CPT because of the interference. But we're going to do an on-the-air test. So thank you for watching the Danita 1240 CPT version.